So how's it going? So we are a couple weeks away from the launch of Resident Evil 9 Requiem. And I've been watching stuff online, I'm hyped for the game like everyone else. And the more I think about it, I have a few concerns for the game. And three main ones keep kind of popping into my head of what I kind of worried about with the game, worries, concerns, was it a good step? Was it a bad step? Should they have done it a different way type of thing? So kind of wanted to discuss those and kind of see how many other people were on the same page as me, or if this is just me stuck in my head, hoping for the best, but, hoping things don't, go for the worst, right? So number one, they've said that there's basically going to be two different play styles, Grace and Leon, and it's going to be constantly bouncing back and forth in the game. I don't really like the sound of that, to be honest, because you have, you're going to have Grace, who's, her gameplay is slower, more methodical. She's timid, clumsy, and, you're kind of run away hiding more than you are fighting. And then you got Leon, who's like the polar opposite, right? His play style is going to be aggressive, more action based, which both game styles are fun, right? This is basically Resident Evil 7 and then Resident Evil Village. With both games were amazing. I enjoyed 7 for what it was, and I enjoyed Village for what it was. But they're kind of, mashing those together and making it happen during one playthrough. And the way they decided to do it, to be honest, I'm not really a fan of. I feel like it's gonna make the pacing of the game weird, and it's gonna be kind of jarring, right? Like you're gonna be playing as Grace, running around all timid, scared, real survival horror, trying to survive, wherever she's at. And then all of a sudden it's gonna pop over to Leon, and you have to switch that mindset and be like, okay, I have to attack, use my weapons, get in there, get toe to toe and shoot. Which is good, but I don't know. I really feel like, and I wish they would have stuck to their previous model when it came to, different play styles and, how the games operate, right? I think this would have been much better if they would have done what they would have done in their previous games with 1, 2, 6, even though 6, we can all talk about the merits of what 6 was like, good or bad, right? But I think that's what they should have done, right? Yeah, okay, having two different playstyles in one game is going to be awesome, but I really think they should have had two separate playthroughs, right? Have Grace's story, where you're doing the, survival horror, running around hiding, doing that type of gameplay, and then have the second playthrough be Leon's playthrough, where you're more action-based. Bloody commercials on YouTube. I didn't even think about that before I started kind of setting up the background story. But yeah, like I said, I really think they should have just had the two different playthroughs and separated the two play styles between each playthrough. And that way, you're still getting the full story. You're still getting Grace's aspect of the story, and you're still getting Leon's aspect of the story, but they're not intertwined, and they're not I don't want to say contradicting each other, but what's the word I'm looking for? Sabotaging each other and messing with each other kind of thing. Because like I said, it's going to kind of mess up the rhythm of the game and the pacing of the game if you're kind of jumping back and forth between both. And they could have kept some of their cool ideas. Like if you pick up an item during Grace's playthrough, it won't be there for Leon, and vice versa. You still could have kept that and still had the same thing. And I feel like that would have gave the game a lot more replay value too, if there's two separate playthroughs. Because right now, personally, I'm going to play the game twice back to back. I'm going to do it once in first person and once in third person and kind of see the difference on how the game feels in both aspects. But I feel like if you would have spread out the playthroughs separately, it would have made the gameplay more enjoyable, less jarring, and just kind of make it feel like two games, but in one game, kind of like I said, the original Resident Evil games were. But that's just kind of my feeling on that. How do you guys feel about that? Let me know in the comments. Number 2 is, as of right now, I'm not really a fan of the idea of Grace Ashcroft as a character. Not because I don't think she's going to be a good character, not because I don't think her story will add to the lore and the, you know, the background of the Resident Evil franchise, but a couple reasons for that though. One, I think Capcom really dropped the ball by not finding a way to re-release or make Resident Evil Outbreak playable for the, you know, 50+% of their fan base who's probably never even touched Outbreak or doesn't even know the story of Alyssa Ashcroft and, you know, the whole story of Outbreak to begin with. I'm one of those. I've played every single game besides for Outbreak. You know, I've played the Umbrella Chronicles, the Revelations games, but for some reason I never did the Outbreak game. It may have came out when I was in the military or something and I just kind of skipped it and missed out on it or something, but I just never played it. So I don't really know the whole Ashcroft story besides for like the little snippets of some of the games where you can find, you know, like papers or stories bringing up Alyssa, but that's pretty much it, right? But yeah, that's kind of like, you know, like, okay, yeah, that's kind of dumb. Like they should have found a way to re-release Outbreak and make it playable for people, even if it's like a DLC or like, you know, extra content or whatever in Requiem. I think that would have helped bridge that gap of the new character. Or, you know, hold on, let me pause this because I don't want more commercials messing up the gameplay or the thing. But yeah, like I said, I feel like that would have been a much better option. Or you could have had Grace and it kind of had the same storyline. You know, she's working for the FBI, but had her connected to a more established character or someone who's at least from a game that people can play. Like there's a ton of, you know, side characters and other characters from, you know, all of the, you know, games, even if it's from a spin-off game like Umbrella Chronicles or Revelations, you still could have done the same thing and made her the daughter of this person, this person, this person. And you could have still had her have the same overlapping story, but had it be involved with a character that people could actually see and people could actually play through them. Like, oh yeah, I remember that character because they're from this game, and they could go back and play the game to realize who that character was before Requiem came out. So I feel like one, Capcom really dropped the ball because that could have been a huge sale for them. Like even if you didn't charge a lot for the game, I think a lot of people would have jumped on the thing just to play it before Requiem came out. And there's kind of going to have a disconnect, right? Like people are going to know Leon, even if you're new to the franchise. People have played the 2 remake or the 4 remake, and so they know who Leon is, right? But no one's going to know who Grace is, and they're going to keep bringing up, you know, Alyssa. Yeah, I know they're going to have like flashbacks and stuff in the game, but there's still going to be that kind of disconnect in people's minds, right? Like, okay, I don't know who that character is. Yeah, I know she's from this thing, but I've never seen her. I don't know who she is, type of thing. You know what I mean? So that's my second concern in the game. The third one is the fan theories that have been kind of popping up all over the place that, one, this is going to be Leon's last game he's ever going to appear in, and most likely they're going to kill him off. I'm going to do another video, and I'll post it on Saturday, about my kind of theory of how I feel about the idea of them killing off Leon or any of the mainline 4 characters like Claire, Jill, Chris, or Leon, and how I think that'll kind of affect the franchise and the goods and bads moving forward. And I'll post that video on Saturday. But yeah, that's kind of another thing. Like, is it going to be good if they kill off Leon? Like, yeah, it'll be like an oh crap moment if he dies at the end of the game, or if he dies from the virus that he's obviously affected with in the game and all the trailers, or if he like sacrifices himself to save Grace and he kind of, you know, suffers and, you know, dies from his wounds at the end of the game. But how's the fan base going to feel? Is it going to be jarring? Is it going to throw people off? Is it going to piss people off? Are people going to accept it? Are people going to accept it as part of just, you know, starting the new arc of whatever story we're going through with Resident Evil? Go, Cat. Uma, stop. Or, you know, how people are going to feel with that. But, you know, Leon on this game, you know, Leon was born in 1977. So Leon's pushing 49, damn near 50, and he's one of the younger ones of the main characters in Resident Evil. So, you know, he's not exactly going to be a spring chicken anymore, being able to run around, do these crazy fight scenes and whatnot. So Do we kill them off? Do we keep them all around as a mentor? You know, where do we go with the franchise moving forward when it comes to like the mainstay characters that have been around for 30 years? And how do we move forward with introducing new characters and stuff like that? Like I said, but I don't think going the way they did with this one and bringing in a character from a relatively unknown game that people can't play with, probably not the best way to introduce new characters moving forward if you want to start bringing in a new cast and move the franchise forward. But that's just my thoughts. Those are my main worries about the game. Everything else, you know, we're not really gonna know how it feels to play a game. We're not gonna know how the combat feels. We're not gonna know where the story goes. You know, stuff like that. We're not gonna know until the game comes out. We still got a couple more weeks for it. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be playing it live on stream. So go and watch it. And I'll be making other videos about it as it comes out. So thanks for watching, and I will see everyone soon. And let me know what you guys think. And do you guys have any other concerns that I didn't really talk about here? Other things you guys are excited about? Let me know. Let's have a discussion. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.